Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of CDH. Starting us off is Mike on Heliod, Suncrowned. This is a mono-white stax combo list, aiming for a slowed game and ending with a walking ballista kill. His opening hand had 2 planes, Mana Vault, Pyre of Heroes, Archivist of Ogma, Archon of Emeria, and a Trouble in Pairs. Next up is Noah on Inalla. You honestly need to be a wizard to pilot this list. It's an intricate Grixis combo list aiming for Spellseeker loops. His opening hand is a Polluted Delta, Mana Confluence, Scalding Tarn, Imperial Seal, Thassa's Oracle, Sink into Stupor, and a Force of Will. In the third spot, we have Griffin on Tymna Tana. This deck is otherwise known as Blood Pod. It's a meta crusher deck, and tuned to a specific meta, it can often hold the entire table down, but only if tuned properly. His opening hand was a Mana Confluence, Horizon Canopy, Plateau, Soul Ring, Null Rod, and a Felidar Guardian, bottoming a Karmic Guide. And bringing up the rear is Hidden on Rielle. This is an Is It Discard Matters deck that uses Rielle's ability to net positive on cards such as Faithless Looting, to dig deep, and assemble an Underworld Breach combo. His opening hand was an Island, Urza's Saga, Talisman of Creativity, Turbulent Dreams, Underworld Breach, Frantic Search, and a Submerge. Also, before we get into the game, I just wanted to give everyone a heads up that I'll be at MC Vegas this upcoming week. So if I don't post a video, you'll know why. And another reminder that I make some pretty sweet MTG inspired apparel, and you should definitely check it out, as it's a great way to support the channel.
Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board.
Mike starts off the game with the planes into a Mana Vault. Noah cracks a Polluted Delta for an Underground Sea, but shortcuts as he casts an Imperial Seal. Griffin plays a Plateau and for 1 casts a Soul Ring, tapping the artifact for Null Rod.
What's Null Rod do?
No activated abilities of artifacts.
A crazy player. Soul Ring. My Soul Ring. But
Hey, they're not going to blow up my Soul Ring.
You know what's great about that?
Good.
Turns off his whole combo.
Hidden has a quick turn, just playing out a command tower. Mike untaps and has another planes and passes. Noah plays out a Mana Confluence and for 1 casts a Mystic Remora. Griffin copies Noah as he also plays out a Mana Confluence, but passes there. Hidden has an Urza Saga, with Mike at his end step flashing in an Archivist of Ogma. Mike has another planes, and for 3 casts his Commander Heliod. Noah untaps, pays for fish, and plays out a Scalding Tarn, with Griffin at his end step also flashing in an Archivist. Griffin untaps and slams down a Grand Abolisher. Hidden draws and gets another lore counter, ending his turn with an Island. Mike plays out an Aganjo as land, and for 1 casts a Sarah's Ascendant, following that up with an Archon of Emeria. Noah will respawn by cracking his fetch for Badlands, triggering both Archivists in the process. But responding to the draw, Noah flashes in an Orcish Bowmaster. Noah doesn't like the idea of the Grand Abolisher and pings it on entry, and after Griffin draws off the Archivist. Mike will then draw off his Archivist, get pinged by the Bowmaster, but also have a Heliod trigger to put a +1/+1 counter on his own Archivist. Mike then heads to combat and sends the buffed Archivist for 3 at Hidden. Noah lets his fish go and hands the turnover after that. Griffin plays out a Horizon Canopy and taps out for his commander Tymna. Griffin then heads to combat and sends his Archivist at Hidden for 2. There are no blocks, with Griffin on his second main paying a life to draw off Tymna, and Noah pinging Mike again with the Bowmaster. With Hidden at his end step, activating the Urza Saga to make a construct. Hidden draws, and responding to the Urza's trigger makes another construct. He then sacks the land to search out a Lion's Eye Diamond, with there being another 2 Archivist triggers. Griffin draws, Noah puts a damage on Tymna, with Mike then drawing. Noah then finishes off Tymna, and Mike then puts another counter on his Archivist. Hidden then plays out a tapped Lonely Sandbar and passes. Mike has a Mycosynth Gardens as land, and for 4 casts a Trouble in Pairs. He then follows that up with Combat. He sends the Ascendant at Noah for 6, with Heliod heading at Hidden. The Archon heads at Griffin for 2, but before blocks, Noah casts a Fire Covenant. He pays 15 to wipe away most of the creatures, with Mike ending his turn there. Noah untaps, draws, and holds back his army in fear of the Construct Crackback, passing there. Griffin plays out of Gemstone Caverns as land and holds his mana up. Hidden has an island, and for 2 casts a super useful Talisman of Curiosity. Mike for 2 casts an Ashes of the Abhorrent. Guess this is the speed round, as Noah simply plays out of Wooded Foothills and passes. As Griffin at his end step casts in an Aladomri's Call, to which Mike flashes in an Aven Mind Sensor. Noah will crack his fetch for Volcanic, but the Aven resolves. Griffin then looks at the top 4 and finds a Twin-Shot Sniper. Griffin then heads to his turn and casts a Felidar Guardian. He blinks out his Soul Ring and passes there. Hidden untaps and also just passes. Mike heads straight to combat. He sends Heliod and the Mind Sensor at Griffin, who doesn't block, with Mike before damage activating Heliod to give both of his creatures lifelink. Damage happens with Mike putting 2 +1/+1 counters on his Mind Sensor off Heliod. Noah untaps, draws, and casts the One Ring. He gains protection and passes. Griffin on his turn casts a Blind Obedience. Hidden has another quick turn, just casting an Arcane Signet. Mike also has a 2-mana artifact, as he casts a Pyre of Heroes. Mike then moves to combat and sends Heliod at Griffin and the Mind Sensor at Hidden. Once again, there are no blocks, with Mike then tapping 2 to give Heliod lifelink. Growing his Aven once again. Noah plays out a Morphic Pool and passes. Griffin plays out a Vault of Champion and follows Noah's lead by passing there. Hidden draws, and unfortunately his hand is a mess, as he casts a Merchant Scroll. He knows it's a bad Anticipate and reveals a Force of Negation, ending his turn discarding a Misdirection due to hand size. Mike plays out a Mother of Runes and once again heads to combat. He sends Heliod back at Griffin and the Aven at Noah. There are no blocks, with Mike giving Heliod lifelink. He puts a counter on the Mother of Runes, but passes there, with Noah at his end step casting a Sink into Stupor on Griffin's Null Rod. It bounces the artifact, with Noah then tapping his ring to draw. Noah then untaps and takes 1 from the ring. He taps it to draw 2 more, and then plays out an Arid Mesa, with Griffin at his end step Assassin's Trophying the Mind Sensor. Mike responds with an Aven Interrupter, which will exile the Assassin's Trophy, with Griffin still at end step flashing in an Aven Mind Sensor of his own. This is the second spell, which triggers Mike's Trouble in Pairs. It draws him a card, with Noah putting a point of damage on the Mother Runes off the Bowmaster. Still with more to do, Griffin then channels out a Twin-Shot Sniper to deal 2 to the Aven Interrupter. And with the creature dying, Mike gains 1 off his Ashes, putting the counter on his Mother Runes. Griffin then heads to his turn and plays out a Verdant Catacombs. He can free cast the Plotted Assassin's Trophy, which he does to kill the Aven Mind Sensor. Mike will gain 1 off his creature dying, and him buffing the Mom once again. Mike does find a Plains off the top 4, with Griffin then cracking his fetch for a Taiga. He then for 3 casts an Eldritch Evolution. He sacks his Aven Mind Sensor, with Hidden responding with a Narset's Reversal. Griffin will fire off a Pyroblast, to which gives Mike a card off the Trouble in Pairs. Noah will ping Mike off the Bowmaster, with Hidden then fighting back with his revealed Force of Negation. He exiles a Frantic Search, and the stack begins to clear. The Pyro is exiled, with the original Eldritch getting bounced to Griffin's hand, and giving Hidden a copy of the spell. Noah will crack the fetch for a tap Steam Vents to save on time, but Hidden gets the search. He doesn't actually have a 5-drop, and ends up settling for a Gilded Drake to take control of Noah's Bowmaster. Priority is then back on Griffin as he then recasts his Null Rod, with the table commenting he should have done that first. But the artifact resolves, with him then following it up by sacrificing his Felidar to a Diabolic Intent. This is also when we realizes Ashes does gain life off any creature dying, as Mike puts a counter on his commander. Hidden heads to his turn and plays out an ironic homeward path. He then heads to combat, and worrying about the tutor, and also wanting to free up his artifacts, Hidden sends the team at Griffin for 11. With Hidden then ending his turn, casting his commander Rielle. Mike untaps and takes one from his tap vault. He plays out a Nykthos as land, and then uses 3 for Boromir. Hidden unfortunately needs to respawn now, as he freecasts a Submerge, targeting the Heliod. And to this, Mike doesn't think it warrants a Mon Protect, as the god is then put on top of his library. Mike then follows that up by activating Nykthos for 5 white, and then uses 3 of it on a Phyrexian Censor. Although Noah responds with a 5-mana Force of Will to counter the creature. Ending his turn with combat, sending the Mom at Hidden for 4. Noah untaps and takes 2 from the ring, stopping in his upkeep to cast the Vamp Tutor. This will cost him another 2 life, but he draws the tutored card for turn. He then proceeds with a Demonic Consultation. This will draw Mike a card, with Hidden pinging Griffin down to 1 off the Bowmaster, but the Demonic resolves, with Noah exiling his entire library. Noah then follows that up with the Thassa's Oracle. There isn't any clean answer, as Mike then casts a March of Otherworldly Lights on the Null Rod. He exiles a Reprieve to Druso. Noah then will take the opportunity to Cycrift Mike's Boromir, and then follow that up with the Pact of Negation. And with all this on the stack, Hidden has a Hail Mary as he casts a Wind's Rebuke on the Null Rod. The artifact will bounce, mill everyone 2, and more importantly, let him crack his LED to discard 2 and draw 2 off the Rielle. Unfortunately, he does not find the answer he needs, as Noah wins the game off the Thassa ETB. Game review. Man, as a combo player sitting at that table, that game felt rough. I could have managed against the Null Rod, but with the Bowmasters, the Ashes, and the Aven, I didn't feel like I could have managed through that game. I do think there were a few choices that could have changed the outcome though. I think Mike should have tried to focus more on Noah. I know hindsight is 20/20, but with all the stacks out there, I wasn't getting there with my Breach, while most of Noah's combos were still online. And with Mike's Hand of Removal and ever-growing creatures, I think he would have been able to kill Griffin before he could have comboed out as well. Thanks to everyone that joined for the game, and before everyone leaves, I want to thank our special Patreon members, Slyfox and Holy Septic, for their support of the channel, along with all of our other Patreon supporters as well. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.